After my first year, when courses were done, grades were in, I got a call from Professor Robert Miller, and he suggested that I might look at some opportunities on the East Coast in big law. And this was something that I hadn't really considered doing before coming to law school. I didn't know what I wanted to do exactly. But it was great for him to reach out on his own initiative and try and push me in that direction. And he took my resume, shopped it to different firms, was instrumental in getting me interviews at different firms, and ultimately was instrumental in helping me land the position that I did.
One of the moments for me that sort of was defining was when I went to the patent law interview program in Chicago, which you go to at the end of your 1L summer to look for a 2L summer job. And I got there and I had all these amazing interview opportunities, and there were all these other students from schools across the country that were kind of on the same footing as I was. So at that point, it kind of felt like, okay, I made the right decision coming to Iowa. I made the right decision going into patent law. I have all these great opportunities ahead of me, and it really felt like, I was on the right path.
I think joining Law Review was a really important moment to me because 1L year, they pitch you against each other, you're in direct competition all the time, and so taking part in this collaborative experience, now we're actually working together to produce something. And I think also in terms of guiding me to the right path, Law Review doesn't have a specific nexus. You can write about anything you want. So I wrote my student note on an IP topic, copyrights and tattoos specifically. And that really showed me I care about this area a lot. It ended up being one of the best things I've written, and I could see, oh, I'm actually passionate about it. I actually was interested and cared about it.
I think working for John Deere was a big one. I always kind of knew I wanted to go into the business side of it, but working for Deere, I kind of thought, okay, like business, legal business is kind of where I want to go.
Well, I think my 1L summer was really the one that solidified for me that I knew I wanted to go into corporate law and work with companies. I like the whole notion behind transactional law of building value. I think a lot of people see attorneys and they think litigation and a zero-sum game, because even when you win, you lose. Whereas in corporate law and transactional work, you're really looking to bring value. People are coming to the table for a reason, and I'm just naturally a people person, and I think in a transactional practice, you get to interact a lot more, build relationships with people, and really understand their issues.
LAWR 2 when we do oral arguments. So we wrote the briefs and then we did our oral arguments, and so there was just this really empowering moment of really I can do this that was really meaningful.
So I was in Professor Anderson's contract class my 1L year, and it was a 2-hour class, so we had a break halfway between for like 5 minutes. And as a 1L, I was terrified of being cold called. And I remember I got cold called for a particularly challenging case. It ended up being the longest cold call of the semester. So I started before the break and then continued on after the break, and it went on for almost an hour. And I did super well, and I wasn't expecting that because I was so nervous. But it kind of showed me that I really do like transactional type work, and I just wasn't sure coming into law school. So that always sticks out to me.
My second year, I took business associations with Professor Yaki. Had a really good experience in that course, and that experience really kind of confirmed to me that I did want to do business law type work. And then my second semester, my second year, I took securities regulation with Professor Miller, and it was during that class that I realized that I probably was going to lean towards or pursue a career in transactional type corporate work.
There was two in particular. One was when I was writing my very first brief as a 1L. The reason that was so important was because it was on probate, which is not a very exciting topic to some people. But the fact that I was still able to go and do the research and not feel completely overwhelmed or bored generally just kind of validated my conviction that this is what I wanted to do no matter what the topic is, as long as I'm enjoying the work. The other one was working at a law firm. Especially just because I didn't know what it was, and being exposed to that really helped me decide the trajectory of my career.
During the orientation week, one of the speakers, and I don't remember who it was, came in and said, it's basically not too late to do a joint degree. I had believed erroneously that I had to have applied, taken exams, and whatnot for an MBA program before I got here. So I thought that was foreclosed to me, but I was wrong. And after a bunch of here, there, and everywhere, and long story short, I got into the MBA program too. So transitioned to a JD MBA program, which is 4 years instead of the 3. And that's been really, really influential in getting that perspective.
I remember would have been first couple weeks of school, I was in torch class with Professor Bohannon. And there was one day we were in class and I just had apparently just not understood the reading at all. That I came in there with just a real distinct idea of what I knew this case was about and was just completely wrong, was just completely off base. It was just a terrifying moment for me. I ran into Professor Bohannon late that afternoon, just sort of happenstance outside the law school, and asked her about it, and she was very supportive and pointed out, I was like, yeah, you're going to screw up, you're going to get things wrong. That doesn't mean you don't belong here. That doesn't mean that you're stupid. That just means you've made a mistake like the rest of us, and it'll be all right. And that really sort of helped me get over those early semester jitters about law school and really understand that things were going to be all right.